Redirect by the state.
I'm just going to go back to a few things that Ms. Nester asked you about. First of all, the unfired bullet that you referred to. It's your understanding that that bullet was accounted for?
That's my recollection, yes.
Okay, and it possibly belonged to an officer that could have maybe been clearing his weapon.
Yes, that's what I recall being told about that particular item, yes.
Are you aware of, if on the 10th, there were police officers present that were actually securing buildings and securing rooms there at UVU?
I know prior to my arrival, it was a dynamic and active scene that I believe was originally being treated that there was an active shooter on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a large, rapid response of law enforcement who were actively trying to clear, secure, and ensure that the campus was safe, if that answers the question.
The entire campus?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And what types of officers were there clearing the campus?
Originally, there would have been probably local units who would have responded, but subsequently specialty teams would have been deployed to do a more methodical search of the campus and what we would call a clearing of the campus.
And those specialty teams and any other officers, how were they equipped? Like what type of equipment were they
I
carrying?
believe most officers carry a sidearm, a handgun, and most officers in this day and age are equipped with a rifle platform as well.
Okay. When you said that it was possible that that round was from an officer clearing his weapon, what exactly do you mean by that?
Our standard practice in our department is to carry a rifle cruiser ready, which
I'm
is
sorry?
we carry our rifles in a situation which is called cruiser ready.
What does that mean?
It means we don't have a round chambered. So if an officer deployed with his rifle, he would chamber a round. Once he had done whatever task it was that he was doing in order to put that weapon back, he would eject the magazine and eject the round. Sometimes in doing so, rounds are dropped or not accounted for.
Okay. Have you personally done that yourself?
We do that at training, and I've done that in the field as well, yes.
Okay. And you're aware of, is that something that's common among police officers in this situation?
I believe for most agencies, that's how they carry their weapons, but I can't speak specifically to agencies outside my own.
Do you have any idea how many officers were dedicated or sent out to clear the campus?
I can tell you I had to park on University Avenue and walk all the way onto campus between hundreds of police cars, so I would say hundreds, if not 1,000 officers, high hundreds would have responded to the campus that day.
Now I'm going to ask you about, Ms. Nester asked you about your observation of seeing Mr. Robinson with something in his hand. And I think she was asking you about Mr. Robinson just prior to crossing Campus Drive, following the shooting. Do you remember that question?
Yes, I think I was asked whether he had a gun in, or I had seen a gun in his hand in the video.
And you said that you did see something in his hand?
Correct.
Okay, I want you to go back as far as you can remember. At what point, after Mr. Robinson stood up on top of the Losee building and ran across, I believe to the northeast corner, when did you first notice in that video something in his hand?
The first time you can clearly notice he has something in his hand, without a doubt, is when he's on the white triangular portion on the northeast corner of the Losee building preparing to jump. It is very apparent he has an item in his hand.
Okay, and that's based on your observation of the videos?
Correct.
Okay. And is it easier to see in that enhanced video?
The zoomed version of the video makes it a lot clearer to see, yes.
Okay. And then after he drops down off of the roof of the Losee building, is there any time between that point in time and making his way to Campus Drive that you believe you see, again, something in his hand?
As Mr. Robinson lands on the grass, it's almost like he either drops it or goes into a crouched position, and then when he returns up from that, it is again clear that there is some kind of an item in his hand, yes.
Can you be more specific or describe in more detail
It
what
appears,
that item might
it
be?
appears to be black and it appears to be longer.
Okay, anything else about that item?
No.
Okay. I believe it was Exhibit 9, State's Exhibit 9 that Ms. Nester pulled up on the screen, and she had you look at that. And I believe what you looked at was, beginning, a still image, but then a few moments or a few seconds of that video. And that's the UVU tunnel video, is that right?
The breezeway underneath the Hall of Flags, yes.
And the view is from behind, where I believe you testified that Mr. Kirk was on the other side of what appears to be a banner
Sure.
in that tunnel view.
Yes.
And on the other side of that banner is the tent and then the rest of the courtyard. Is that fair to
Correct.
say? Do you remember seeing the banner
Yes.
in the video? Okay,
You're referring to the back of the pop-up tent?
correct, yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay. And do you remember, what do you remember about that banner?
It has some kind of an emblem on it, and it forms the back portion of the pop-up tent.
Is it opaque? Is it transparent? How would
No, you
describe
can't see through it. It's white,
Right.
and you cannot see through it, no.
And how much of the tunnel does that banner, I guess if it's opaque, obstruct?
I couldn't say. I'm assuming it's a 20 by 20 gazebo, so it would block out the area of the back of the tent that you can see. You would not be able to see through it. You would not be able to see through it from the audience side of the amphitheater.
And what about the tunnel side of that banner? Can you see through the tunnel side in the opposite direction?
You cannot, no.
Can you see Mr. Kirk on the other side of that banner?
You can't, no.
Okay. Well, we exhibited, or Ms. Nester had you watch just, I believe, just a brief few seconds of that video. That exhibit is actually much longer than what we just looked at, or what Ms. Nester had you look at, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And leading up, and again, I'm referring to that view, that tunnel view of that surveillance camera, leading up to the shot, what's going on behind that banner?
There are representatives, I believe, of TPUSA, but there are representatives of TPUSA, there are law enforcement representatives. I don't know if there's any student body, but essentially people are moving to and fro behind that area. A couple of individuals are retrieving items from a vehicle, but there's consistent movement behind and in that area.
Okay. Directly behind the banner?
Correct.
Ms. Nester asked you about the wooded area that Mr. Robinson entered. Well, Ms. Nester brought that up, and I believe your testimony has been, between today and yesterday, that you witnessed Mr. Robinson enter a wooded area on at least 2 occasions. Is that fair to say?
Yes, on his second visit to the campus and on the visit where the incident took place.
At least on those 2 occasions, did the wooded area that he entered, were they different parts of the wooded area, or was it the same parts of the?
They appeared to be the same.
You're aware that a rifle was eventually discovered,
Yes,
and was it your understanding that that rifle was discovered in a wooded area?
it was in the wooded area where we believe Mr. Robinson entered the wooded area, yes.
And that rifle was discovered on the 10th?
Yes.
Ms. Nester asked you about a variety of tips including threats to Mr. Kirk, I think before the event.
Yes.
And did you follow up on those tips?
After tips have been put through a process and been analyzed and screened, anything that appeared to have relevance to either the investigation or a credible threat was managed by the various entities involved, yes.
Okay. So managed by law enforcement, so.
Correct.
Did you personally follow up on any of the tips?
I don't think I personally did, but I worked closely with people who did.
The point is, I guess, is that those tips were followed up on. Is that fair to say?
To the best of our ability, yes.
Okay. And then Ms. Nester also asked you about tips, I believe, of people reporting to police that they felt like they knew who the shooter was.
Yes,
Okay, so identities of possible shooters.
correct.
Did law enforcement follow up on those tips as well?
They did.
Ms. Nester, finally, Ms. Nester asked you, she asked you whether Mr. Robinson voluntarily went to the sheriff's office down in southern Utah. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay. And that was the Washington County Sheriff's Office.
yes,
Okay. You understood that he turned him, well, he showed up there voluntarily. Is that right?
correct.
What was your understanding as to why he was showing up there voluntarily?
He had informed, I believe, his immediate family that he had been involved in the shooting and that he wanted to turn himself in.
Okay. Nothing further. In the video that